All right, Genesis chapter 4. Let's call this one snake bit. Why? Because that is a modern term that deals with curses, the biblical term that really defines much of chapters 3 and chapter 4. Why? Because backing up to chapter 3, after Adam and Eve push past boundaries and essentially get their eviction notice from the Garden of Eden, they end up with a son, Cain, who likewise pushes past boundaries and kills his brother Abel. And all of these individuals end up cursed because of their choices. And so chapter 4 starts out with Adam and Eve not only losing a son, Abel, they also in a lot of ways lose Cain, because part of the curses that fall on that fall on Cain are, one, he's going to become a fugitive, but two, he's going to become a fugitive for which the word says he's no longer going to work with a ground that's going to yield its strength to him. In simple terms, he's going to have to struggle to make a living going forward. And many times, parents see much joy in the successes of their kids, but they also can endure much suffering when they know that their kids are also suffering. And so that's what they're dealing with the loss of Abel and Cain's new reality. But God's not going to leave it there, because he's going to bless them with another son, Seth. But they may not be able to fully appreciate how much God is blessing them through Seth at the time. Why? Because later on, Seth is going to have a descendant, the famous Noah, of Noah and the ark. But long before he becomes the famous Noah of Noah and the ark, his father's going to notice something about him. And it says it toward the end of Genesis 4, when, in verse 28, when Lamech, and this is a different Lamech than the one that descended from Cain, but when Lamech lived 182 years, he fathered a son and called his name Noah, saying, out of the ground that the Lord has cursed, this one shall bring us relief from our work and from the painful toil of our hands. And so Adam and Eve did not necessarily know it, but when they got Seth, God was introducing them to the exit from their curse that was going to be realized in all that Noah was going to do. And so what's the lesson for us? Sometimes we can reach periods of our life that seem snake bit. That whole term cursed basically meant they were in a period of time that no matter what they did, it was not going to be as successful as they were used to it being. And we are living in times now when many people are realizing that no matter how much they work, it's not producing as much as they were used to it producing. And so understand this, much like God brought Adam and Eve a way out of their curse through Seth, even though they might not have appreciated how much of a blessing Seth was at the time, their opportunity out of their curse was in pouring their best efforts into raising Seth and doing all that they could with him. Likewise, your opportunity at this point is probably going to come through you putting your best efforts into what you have left. The Bible says it this way in the story of Elijah, another one of the prophets. There was a widow who was preparing her last meal and getting ready to die, but Elijah showed her a way out by helping her focus on what she had left and how it was an opportunity out of certain death. Elijah's understudy, Elisha, helped the widow in much the same way when she was facing crushing debt, and using what she had left, he helped her see a way out of her despair. And likewise with us, my prayer for you is my prayer for me, that we not let our down moments consume our vision to the point where we miss opportunities to cut short our period of suffering. And so hopefully, no matter how bad things are for each or every one of us, we are able to look at what we have left and allow God to use those to deliver us from whatever situation we're dealing with. God's best to you as you go forward in him.